So, Paul, what would you be your perfect weather report for Saturday night at 7:30 at night?
Whatever is going to affect them the most. And regardless, we got to play a good football game, regardless of the weather conditions, and we got to outplay them.
I know this isn't your first time, and you've been doing this now for a few years, but it's got to be, every year it must be a little bit special to match up with Dennis, for you personally. I mean, it's I don't want to call it, it's mentor. I don't know what words would you put on it?
Well, obviously he's one of my mentors. I played for him, and I think a lot of it had to do with me getting into the coach, and had to do with he and his staff. They made it fun for the players, and I liked some of the things they did as a coaching staff, and it was part of the reason why I ended up getting into coaching, to be quite honest.
One of the defensive linemen on the other side for them is your boss's son. What do you see in him as a player, and what does he do for them, and what do you expect out of him on Saturday?
Well, he gives them a lot of. He's just consistent and solid. He's tough, really good in the run game. He's gotten quicker this year. He's provided more pass rush, and he's just so consistent and solid. And I think he gives them somebody they know what they're going to get playing and play out.
Do you kind of wish that you had had an opportunity? I mean, he came out of high school a year too early for you to get him here.
Yeah, no, I would love to have had him. I mean, he fits a lot of the profile things that belong at Washington State, and it is where he should have been.
That's all I got, Bill.
Questions on the line?
Well, I got a question. I wonder if you could clarify. After the Cal game, you seem to be perturbed with your team's effort. You said when we kicked off, we weren't there. And then the next night, it sounded as though you said, I did not hear that call, but it sounded as though you said, we played hard. Cal just played a great game. Which was it?
After I had a chance to watch the film, and things changed a little bit, I think our effort was good. I mean, was it great? Off the charts? No, but it was good. It was just one of those days you get a little dazed, and we just didn't play a great game focus wise. I think we lost some focus somewhere, and the whole team was in the same category. And I've been coaching this game a long time, and was told by an old coach years ago that in a football season, an 11, 12 game season, you're going to have 2 or 3 games where you've got not a great level of focus and intensity, and there's some 2 or 3 games you're going to play at a high level from a focus and intensity standpoint, and then the rest are going to be down the middle of the road. And that's hold true in all my years of coaching and playing, and even as a player, I remember there'd be games no matter what I tried to do, it just wasn't there. And if any of you've ever been in some level of competition or athletics, you've all had days like that, or your team has had days like that, and I felt that was part of what happened. But Cal also took it to us, and you got to give them some credit. They came out, and the film showed it. The film showed them getting after us. They were more physical than us. They are more physical than us. They're bigger, stronger, older, and they took it to us. That's what happened.
Coach Andrew Nemec from the Moscow Pullman Daily News. You've talked a lot all season, really, about how the roster's deeper and more talented, and there's so many more talented young guys that you see in the next couple of years becoming playmakers. How discouraging is it that the fan base doesn't seem to be recognizing that across the board?
Well, I think that's why they're fans. I guess if they were in the business and actually were in coaching and have ever built a program before and never had success, they would understand the process. And so, but that's why they're fans, I guess, and that's okay. That's part of the deal. But what I do know is that internally, these players are very excited about the future of our football program, the growth that we've made. we're not satisfied. We want to win games and go to bowl games. But we got all the ingredients. They're just still a youthful group of players. And, we lost our leader in the first game of the season. And that's had an impact on probably obviously overall in some of the games. And that's something that coaches can't control. We can't control that issue, but I can say that everything else is in a great direction. Our off-field issues are better. Our strength is better. Our work ethic is greatly improved. We got all the right ingredients. We're just, like I said, we're a youthful team, and I think the numbers don't lie when you talk about our youth. When you look at 5 players that have been in our program 5 years, 11 that have been here 4, 28 that's been here 3, 28 that's been here 2, and 33 or 34 that have just got here this fall. So you look at that core of young guys, it's a youthful football team. When this football team went to bowl games, those fifth-year players, you had numbers in the 15s to 20s. Same thing with the fourth-year players. You didn't have just 5 in the fifth-year group, and you didn't just have 11. And that's the reality of where this program is at. It's had to be rebuilt from the depth of as far as it can be. And I'm not ashamed of that. I'm here to fix that issue. And I know everyone wants it done really quickly. Ain't going to happen. And it will never happen when the situation is the way it was here.
Hey, Paul, it's pretty cool that Steve Gleason's going to be the honorary captain Saturday night. Do you have plans for him to talk to the team beforehand?
Yeah, the plans are going to be, I want him to do what he wants to do and is comfortable doing. And so I'm going to kind of wait and see once he gets here. And I know that he's struggling a little bit talking right now. And so that's going to maybe have an impact. But I want him to be engaged as much as he's willing to be engaged with our team.
There were some eyebrows raised, I guess, after the Cal game by some of the comments that you made in which you said that Cal was the best-looking team that you've seen in this conference period. They probably have the best talent top to bottom. And most people, me included, we look at it and we go, well, wait a minute, Stanford, Oregon, USC, you could say ASU, Washington might have more talent than Cal.
Depends, I guess, if you're down on the field and you see their athletes and can compare them week in and week out like we as coaches get to, I think you would maybe have my same opinion. So for people watching it on TV or in the stands and don't see every game clip that we see, I wouldn't gauge their opinion as much as coaches. And the point I'm trying to make is that that 6 veteran seniors on defense. They've got a number of NFL football players playing on that defense. Their offensive line's got NFL football players on it. Their receivers are NFL football players. They're very big. They're very physical. The games they've lost, they've had a turnover issue at the quarterback position. And the play at that position has been their Achilles heel, which goes back to the importance of play from your quarterback. It's critical, and I think that's hurt them in some games, obviously, from the turnover battle. They'd have more wins without question on their record. I think they're 5-4 now, but they'd definitely have 2 or 3 more wins if they were able to take care of the football this year, which would obviously only put them with 1 or 2 losses. And but when you look at all the parts of their team, they've got tremendous talent. Tremendous talent.
Everybody talks about Jeff Toole being out for as long as he's been out, being one of the complicating factors for you. But to me, that schedule that you played, and I know I've mentioned it before to you, but in a private moment, do you agree that? I mean, that's made it even more difficult for you this year, hasn't it? That one game at Martin Stadium in 2 months is just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it really is. And there isn't anybody you can blame because that schedule was made out, obviously, in advance and quite a while ago. And, it is very challenging, Jim. I mean, there's no question about it. You add on top of a youthful team that plays that same kind of schedule, you're right. It is tough, but there's nothing I can do about that, and I I think it's something people need to just acknowledge as they analyze, if they're fans of our program and where it's going, analyze the facts of the thing, and that's something you analyze. It makes it that much more challenging for our players. But the good thing is it's behind us at this point, and we get to play at home, and we got 2 weeks in a row to get to play at home, and I'm just excited about that, and I know our players are.
Well, next year you're playing Oregon at CenturyLink. Do you still have the same month and a half, 2 month type situation where you don't play at Martin Stadium?
No, actually, next year's schedule, if you look at it, it's really good. I think there's only one time in the league, one time that we go back-to-back games on the road. It's pretty much every other, and so it's a really good schedule from that standpoint. And we have more league games at home too next year. And now you're looking at Cal at home, obviously UCLA at home, and all the teams we've played on the road this year back in Pullman. I think that's really good. And then you add the Apple Cup in Pullman. I think you've got a real good schedule. BYU is on the road early. UNLV is on the road, but that's fine. And then Eastern Washington's at home, and so I like that. That's a good schedule.
Kind of analyzing Paul, would it be fair to say next year is when you make that jump to being the veteran kind of football team you've been talking about wanting to get to, obviously?
Yeah, I mean, I really believe that each year moving forward, it's really going to take big steps, and I knew we would this year. And in all reality, you go back after we lost to UCLA, we were 3-2, and we had played good football in all 5 of those football games. We'd made some critical mistakes that cost us those 2 games that we had lost. We played Stanford really, tough, and then late in the game, we had some issues with our, giving up some points, and we lost that game. So our first 6 football games were good, and then this year, then we didn't play well at Oregon State. When we played Oregon State, we played well against Oregon. Didn't come up with wins though, and then we didn't play great at Cal. And now that's where we're at, and we'll be a heck of a lot more veteran and savvy and been through the ropes, and we will be. We'll be way more veteran, and I thought this year that we had a chance to go to a bowl game, and you know what, we still do. I really felt that number 10 had to be a catalyst for this football team this year, but you move forward. And I don't know that the quarterback play has to be as hugely vital as it next year, because the whole football team just should take a huge leap and bounds of improvement. So you're not going to need a superstar effort from a quarterback per se, next year, because all the other parts around it are just going to take that much more of a big step.
Are you getting closer to shutting him down for the year?
Yeah, I mean, as much as I wish it was my call. Which none of it is. He's still real sore, and it's like when you re-pull a muscle a second time or anything, it almost doubles the recovery time, and so it's as we keep moving forward here, Jim, I really think that it's not looking like he's going to play, but I think we'll have a for sure answer by this next Sunday after this weekend's game. I think we'll know one way or another for sure by this week. That would be my guess at this point.
And you're still of the belief that he won't get that extra year?
Well, not totally, and I think we're working on 2 issues here. We're working on the 5th year if the NCAA goes through with that rule, and then I do think we have every reason to file a waiver on his situation, because boy, we got a lot of good things in our favor for lack of playing time and reps, obviously, and the fact that he did re-injure it, 3rd play of the game against Oregon State, to be honest, and he just gutted it out through that half. But so I think we do have some things in our favor from that standpoint too. I really do. But once again, that's going to be up to the waiver and all the information we gather and how the NCAA looks at it.
Is it more his shoulder or his calf?
No, it's his collarbone. Calf's getting a lot better, and don't think that's an issue at this point at all. it's still the collarbone in that area that is very tender. Who's lab?
Sorry for the canine interference, fellas.
Sound like a lab. Is that a lab?
It is. Boy, you're sharp.
Yeah. See, I know I know my animals.
Are there any complications with that waiver because you're talking about two separate incidents? I mean, you see guys that go down after game 3 and they're done the rest of the season. There's not even a question they're probably going to get the waiver.
Actually,
is it because it's multiple games?
No, yeah, actually, because it's the same injury, and you know, it's maybe never fully healed, you know, and so those are things we have to analyze, and that the people looking into it are going to have to.
Hey, Paul, forget the bowl game for a second. Do you feel? I mean, you know, it's the elephant in the room. Everybody's talking about it. Do you feel like you need to win 2 of the last 3 games, or at least be highly competitive in those games to be able to get a chance to coach this team next year?
You know, no. I mean, I haven't even looked at that. You know, we're just trying to get our team ready this week, and you know, so many people talk in this world about coaches, you know, in all the sports, you know, college and pro, and it's just part of our society now, and people like to talk about that stuff, and I think ultimately it comes back to Bill Moose. You know, I mean, he's the one that he's the athletic director. He's the best expert we could all ask for to build Cougar football and athletics back, and if he feels that we're headed in a good direction, then that's his call. And you know, if I'm Cougar fans, I really wouldn't worry about it. You got the best guy you could ask to make the right decision, and it's as simple as that. And let the man do his job, and let the coaches and players do our job.
Game planning for Arizona State, looking at the weapons they have, you have a guy like Osweiler. What stands out to you offensively from trying to contain them, having your defense contain their offense, looking at the weapons they have?
Well, they've got a lot of speed and talent, and they've been, you know, scoring on everybody. And so, you know, for us to stop them isn't a realistic expectation, but for us to slow them down, find a way to get some turnovers, create some havoc for them a little bit, and maybe try to get them out of rhythm is going to be pretty important for us to do that. And our challenges are that, you know, they're a very big play opportunistic team because they've got the players that can make the big plays. You know, it's like Oregon, you know, in the sense that, you know, you can slow them down and you can stop them on some things, but boy, if you just barely miss, they've got a player or two that's going to take it all the way for a touchdown. They've got the home run threat, and we got to be. Our defense is got to be really good. They got to tackle well and do everything you can to prevent the big play.
Have you had a chance to watch that UCLA game and see what they were doing against Arizona State with that close win that UCLA pulled out?
Yeah, you know, UCLA did a good job, although, you know, they still, you know, had 400-plus yards, Arizona State. They drove down and put themselves in a position to win the football game, and I think they did everything they could do. I thought the offense did a good job, actually, in terms of Arizona State. And I would love to play well against their offense because I know it's a big challenge for us.
Hey, Paul, you played them both. Who do you think wins, Oregon or Stanford?
Well, you know, again, it's guessing because if some team makes more mistakes than other, but all things being equal, I'd say Stanford.
Because
I just think that they're going to be more efficient on offense. I don't think they'll turn the ball over, and I think their defense is very underrated.
Kind of wish you had a bye this week so you could sit down and watch it.
No, I'm excited to play our game and to get on with this one.
Any other questions on the line?
can I ask one more? Or have I gone over my allotment?
Well, you're over your allotment, but go ahead, Jim. You owe us.
Hey, this is just a question as a WSU alum and a fan. When we were down 30-0, I'm wondering why you chose to go for a field goal.
Well, I wanted to get some points on the board. It was still early enough, and just getting some points on the board, and coming back with the opportunity to get the ball back and maybe give us just a little bit of momentum. You know, get that monkey off her back and get some points and try to go back and get on a roll, score points and see what happens. I mean, that was the idea behind it. And you know, we've got a really good kicker. I mean, Andrew Fernie is one of the top kickers in the country as a sophomore, and we thought he'd make the field goal, you know, and give us an opportunity to get back and get the ball back. I mean, that was the idea.